first of all, words could never really put to justice what Coach Mack was, not only just to me, but my teammates, even when I was there, the players, the community. You know, I went to school. Obviously, I was his first recruiting class, along with, you know, the other players that were with me. I think that a coach, and I told this to Coach, like a lot of us that have been in this profession. You know, when I was a player, I didn't understand sometimes the things that he'd asked us to do, and just trusted him. When I left college, I called him a year later, and I told him, I said, Coach, I know it's late, but I just want to apologize for some of the things, the way I behaved, but, you know, I got it now. You know, I understand now. And, he said, who's this again? You know, but that was the kind of the guy that Coach Mack was. And then, you know, obviously I went to school with his daughters, so I knew them, you know, at a young age. Obviously, Mackie McPherson, the grandson, you know, played for me, you know, when I was the head coach at Syracuse, and kind of like, you know, my relationship, you know, now with Coach Coughlin was my relationship when I was the head coach at Syracuse, you know, with Coach Mack. I tried to simulate the same program that he ran, you know, when he was the head coach, and obviously we had some benefits, you know, for that, you know, relying on him, you know, through his thing. You know, at the end of the day, I think people do know this. That's the one thing. You know, obviously we know he was a great man. He was an unbelievable husband, you know, to Sandra, who is, you know, really the rock behind every coach, you know, in my opinion. An unbelievable, you know, father, an unbelievable grandfather, an outstanding coach, and an unbelievable representative of not only, you know, Central New York, but even his roots back here in Massachusetts, or, you know, when he went to Springfield, obviously, and obviously Maine, you know, where he's from. So I learned a lot from Coach. I learned about priorities in life. You know, I had all my priorities mixed up when I was a young player. Coach got it right. You know, he would write a letter. He'd ask all of us to write a letter saying what our priorities were. And as a young incoming freshman, you start writing about how you want to play football. You know, I want to make the traveling team. I want to be a starter. I want to be all East. I want to be this. And he would write a letter to all of us about what his priorities were. And he would talk about, you know, faith being first. You know, then he would talk about, you know, family being second. And then he'd always slash football or academics and football, which I always laughed with him about. And then fourth was social life. And I think it's a unique exercise that we've all gone through as players, but it's one that I've continued to do every single year, because those things start to change and what they mean to you. So, you know, I can never be thankful enough, you know, for what Coach has done to me and for me and my teammates and the community and the teams that have been through. And I just don't know if I could ever say enough. So I appreciate you asking that question and giving me this opportunity. It's been tough for me. I've been trying not to show that to the players, because obviously, you know, we have a job to do here, and it didn't cause me to be a distraction to the players, and I haven't spoken to the players about it or any of the assistant coaches, except for the ones that were with me at Syracuse. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.